turns here, and I'm gonna spend a lot of time trying to fix this weird tilt issue for whatever reason that happens. I don't know. I have to manually fix it. Basically, this turn is kind of annoying. I think in the end, I'm gonna spend like a long time. This is, you know, of course, after this is commentary after the fact, and so you can see I just sped up the footage here, and I think I'm just gonna keep it like that with 2 nodes. And yeah, so as you can see, the wall currently goes through the track, but again, that wall is just kind of a suggestion. It's the original track, but we may not keep it the exact same way. And I changed that up, and basically, yeah, I just kind of turned off the visuals of the actual track, or the standard, you know, the actual original track, because I didn't want to be bothered by that. I'm gonna manually change that wall weird like mountain structure. It's you know, this track is made by Paint, or with Paint, way back in like 2011 or something like that, and which means that some of the structures, you know, are very blocky. Basically, it's like a 3D trapezoid or something like that. I don't know what to call it. I have no idea what to call that. It's probably some mathematical name for that type of what is it? So it's type of object, type of 3D object. But well, so basically, there's the track layout finished at this point. I think I'm gonna add grass to this and apply all the track. Apply the track or the curve modifiers, and basically I'm going to start working on the grass section on the side of each section of the track, except I still remove some of the track that's there. And yeah, basically here we go. So I'm going to make the walls less blocky and stuff, make it more curved, as you can see, because it's very curved or very blocky, and just, you know, paint. You know, with paint you can basically only make blocky blocky edges and stuff like that. It's yeah. So basically, the whole idea of doing this is basically trying to improve the visual quality of the track, while not necessarily changing much of the gameplay. Of course, yeah, the mushrooms are going to be a big change. Well, I mean, I think everyone's gonna like the fact that I'm gonna make the mushroom section different, because that mushroom section, I didn't really like it, and I'm not sure what other people think. But yeah, also this edge, the edge with the trees on it, or yeah, there's basically just a tree wall. It's kind of lame. So basically, I want to also add tree walls, but I'm gonna do it in a different way, which you'll see way later on. So here's basically the grass section complete. Oh, what have I done there? Yeah, don't know what I just did. Yay. So yeah, here we go. I'm just gonna... What am I doing? I'm already gonna extrude this. I haven't even filled it. Oh well. Let's see what I'm gonna do. I don't remember any of this, even though it was yesterday, but I've been doing so much to this. Basically, this, I think, so it's 20 minutes times 4, right? That's a long time. That's basically 1.5 hours of footage of me working on this track, I think. And that's quite a long time. And I already forgot what I did yesterday, but there we go. I finally start, like, basically filling in that grass section there. There we go. And also the intersection here. So there's a big, like, mountain structure at the beginning, which I think I'm gonna do next here, after I add the texturing to it, because it's hard to see. Like, I want to do textures. It looks everything is like road texture, so I need to add the grass texture to it, to everything. And there we go. Come on. It takes so long. Yeah, this is kind of annoying to select, but I need to select that manually to add it to the grass material, basically. It's kind of just an annoyance. I could have done that more efficiently if I just assigned it directly when I made it, but I suck at 3D modeling, so yeah. And there we go. And there's the grass texture. Now you can see what it basically looks like. Also, I noticed that the grass texture is too high above the edge. You can, like, see the track on the other side, so I spend another long time fixing this thing by selecting all of this, and basically moving it down. I try to figure out which amount I need to move it down by, and come on. Oh god, this is gonna take forever, let me tell you. Because I already know what happens. So here we go. And then I need to do that to basically every other part of the track. There we go. No, I'm still... There it is. Now you can't actually see the other side of the track coming through. And I basically need to do that to every single part of the track ever, which takes forever. Yeah, it really does take forever. What can I talk about? I've already sped this up a lot, and it takes a long time. Basically, doing this takes a long time, if you haven't noticed. I've only done like 1/3 of the track in like 1.5 hours, so it takes a long time, trust me. So it can probably be faster. You know, if I was better at using Blender, then I'd probably be able to do things much faster. But you know, you gain knowledge through experience, and basically that's that. So now I continue on the little edge here, a little wall edge, on which to place another field of grass, and then there's going to be tree walls behind it. You'll see once I finish that. So I need to make that line up, which takes more time. And for whatever reason, the normal direction was the wrong direction. For whatever reason, Blender likes to just not care. And there we go, finally. So I think at this point I'm going to... Oh, there it is. So there's I was talking about that one. The little mountain thing there. So I'm gonna try to recreate that. So of course in a bit better resolution. Resolution is in like more vertices, and making it less blocky, basically. There we go. So there's the outline of it, and then I basically make it go up. Yeah, because it's a mountain. Haha. And scale it inwards, but it looks kind of weird. So what I'm gonna do is actually like make the top more round. So I want it to become more round as it goes up, because it looks pretty cool. And then I create a loop cut there, and another one, and basically that's the mountain done. I think it looks prettier than the other version. And then we add the texturing to it, because texturing takes freaking forever. You'll see me later on do texturing on like the tree walls, and that just takes forever, because I figured out a way to... Oh, also the was it like UV grid, the UV grid plugin is so good when it comes to this. It helped me so much, man. Alright, there we go, and I have to manual line it. Texturing takes a long time. It's just loads of fiddling around. Just messing around, trial and error, and there we go. So finally I add the texture to this wall section as well. Finally, no, not yet. Finally, there we go. So there it is. So add the wall texture, and I thought of, like, for whatever reason, making it smaller. It doesn't look right though, so I just undo everything. So for whatever reason, I didn't realize it just looks terrible, and now I'm like, wait, it looks terrible, so undo everything and redo it, basically. Alright, so, yeah. There we go. Fix those. For whatever reason, that one was flipped the other way around. I don't know why, and I don't understand. And of course, manually change that one, because it's way too long, it doesn't work when you just... UV mapping is an annoying thing, basically. There we go. So that's basically that done. I think, yeah, we're gonna go into the next section here, which is, I think, the next day. You'll see in a moment here. Bam. Actually, I think this is the same day, but way later on. It's actually today, the day that I'm actually recording this, which is going to be yesterday if you're watching this on YouTube. The day it was uploaded, but if you're not watching this while it's uploaded, or right after it's uploaded, then basically the day before uploading. You can see the upload date in the description. For whatever reason, it made a duplicate there. I don't know why that wall is a duplicate. Oh well, I don't understand. I honestly don't. But here we go. So there's the grass section after or after a little wall, which is gonna house a load of like trees and details and bushes and whatever the heck. I just want to add a bit of detail there, and then I need to do loop cuts on all these freaking faces, or edges, which takes a long time to select again, and then there we go. So now I need to also reselect them and move them properly into position. There we go. So then I need to find the tree wall texture. This tree wall texture is from the original, and it looks terrible. It has weird texture glitches and stuff. That's because I think that this track is really old, and I assume they didn't entirely know how to make these textures yet. It has some glitches in it, so now I need to basically find the original texture from Mushroom Gorge and import that one. There we go. I think there it is. So that's the original texture. For the tree wall, as you can see, I'm going to use the top. Basically, the original texture on the original track, right, was basically that the top of this big texture, which you'll see in a moment. That texture, basically the top of that, but then copy pasted, so there like was no space between the trees. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have multiple layers of trees to make it basically the same effect, but have it like in 3D depth. You'll see it later on. The texture, the transparency doesn't work in the preview window for whatever reason. It doesn't on other objects, but for here the transparency doesn't work. You'll just see black between the trees for whatever reason. Also, I'm gonna spend like 10 billion minutes on trying to texture this. Well, in the end I figure that I have that plugin called UV to grid, which means I can basically just do the whole thing like this. And I'm like, oh, this also needs to be done like that, and then I'm like, wait, but I've still not figured it out. Why? I'm looking back at this, cringing at myself, like, why didn't I figure this out earlier? Like, I'm fiddling with this, and I'm like, wait a sec, I can do that to the whole thing, and it saves me so much time. Basically, select the whole thing and have everything be proportionate. Why didn't I do that from the start? Because I, for whatever reason, forgot about that. I'm such a great 3D modeler, guys. So that was basically 10 minutes of my time just spent for nothing. Alright, there we go. There's the tree wall. Basically, there's going to be 3 layers of tree walls. So I think next I'm going to be... why am I saving so... I always save. You'll see me save so often. Oh no, actually, instead, before creating those tree walls, I'm actually going to... add the tree model from the original Mushroom Gorge, not Sunset Forest, but Mushroom Gorge. Actually, Sunset Forest has this tree in it, but only one of them for whatever. Like, there's just one tree of that, and I don't know. I imported this from Mushroom Gorge. Basically, spent another 30 minutes having to fix the textures because like texture loops differently than it does in Blender, and I know that I could have kept it that way, but then in Brawlbox I have to manually switch the setting to... I'd rather keep it the same and have it work in Blender, and instead of having to fix it in Brawlbox later on. Whatever. So basically, it was another half hour spent basically fixing up that tree and a bunch of other background details on Mushroom Gorge, which I'll be importing later on. So here's the second layer of tree wall that I was talking about earlier, like freaking 10 minutes ago or something. There it is, the second layer tree wall. So I'm gonna have 3 layers of this tree wall, basically, which gives you, a nice little parallax 3D effect. Instead of just having a flat tree wall, I have 3. And of course I can't really use trees for this because that would be way too many triangles. How many trees that is? I mean, for Wii U, I could have done this and basically just copy-pasted the trees 10 billion times, and there we go. So the transparency only works in the editor for some reason when I'm in edit mode. But yeah, there's 3 layers of trees, and at this point I'm gonna copy-paste this tree model everywhere, basically, on this section to add more detail and basically make give the I forgot the English word for it, dang it. It makes it look like there's actually 3D trees, and then in the background the trees are gonna turn into a tree wall. I don't know, it makes it look like it makes it look better. I don't know what I was trying to say actually. Basically, the trees that are closest to you are 3D, but the trees that are furthest away look 2D. because yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks okay. And at this point, going to load this. Oh, also, yeah, there's the bush from the Mushroom Gorge as well, which I also spent time fixing. It wasn't that long because this wasn't using some weird texture rotation thing. And now I need to, I figured out that I'm gonna have to rotate all these trees, because right now all those trees have the exact same rotation. They'd be facing the same way. In real life, trees aren't all identical, so I'm trying to figure out how to randomly do it. You can't do it randomly, so I have to manually select a bunch of trees by random and rotate them so they don't all look exactly the same. There we go. And then there's the bush, which basically I copy-paste the same way as the trees, but instead of, you know, instead I'm being smart and rotate them immediately as I copy them, so, you know, they will all have different rotations right when I copy them. Basically just randomly rotate them by hand. And now we've got bushes in the background as well. This took me so long. This takes so gosh dang long. This is like 4 times sped up, but like imagine having to sit through all this. It wasn't that bad. I actually enjoy making this series because it's fun trying to recreate or basically redo old favorites of yours. Well, this wasn't really a favorite. I mean, it was okay. I played this way back in the day, and lots of people don't really like the track. But it's okay, you know, suggest me in the comments below other tracks. However, this is gonna be like part 1 of probably 2 or 3 on this track, Sunset Forest. Because as you can see, we're almost reaching the end of this video and we're basically only done with this part. I want to fix the grass texture here because that wasn't even grass yet, so I forgot about that one. So there we go. I have to manually select all this because this wasn't freaking assigned. I should have assigned it immediately, but then I forgot about that and I have to manually assign it. I first assigned it to like out of bounds, but then I realized, like, you know what? I'm gonna give people a chance of exploring and get to those trees. So if you can somehow jump your way up onto that section, then sure, man. If you can clip the wall or something, you can make it up to that section and drive around in between all the trees and stuff. But that's gonna be it for this episode of Let's Remake Custom Track, and I hope you guys enjoyed. You can leave a like if you want to, and I'll see you guys in the next video.